I'm here with Head Coach Matt Kocher, South Hills Wrestling Club out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. His team finished, his elementary third and under team won the championship yesterday here at the Crusade. His sixth grade and under team just took second place overall. Coach, tell us how your weekend went.
It was an awesome weekend for us. Yeah, these knuckleheads are behind me, so they're going to get me laughing and stuff. But it was a great weekend. We talked about how last year, I think, we haven't done this. You know, it's been years coming. We've been to this event, I think, 3 years in a row now at least. And every year we come, we learn, we get better. We haven't had the success. It took us time to get here. So yeah, it was an awesome weekend for us.
Yeah. So individual-wise, are there any guys that really stood? I know you had a couple outstanding wrestlers, one on each team.
Yeah.
But even aside from those OWs, who really stood out this weekend?
Yeah. So K3 yesterday. In the finals, Case White Leather for us had a great match where he had a gut check, got a last-second takedown in the third period, ended up in overtime, and got another takedown. You know, it was one of those situations where the kid was going behind him, he just barely had his hands on him, and fought through it, got the takedown, and so that was awesome. Our outstanding wrestler went to Luca Baiano for our K6, and the reason being, he wrestled awesome all weekend, and more importantly, I've watched that progress from last March, where he fell a little short of the podium, but state qualifier, and I watched him put in extra time all summer, and now it's paying off for him. So that was an awesome weekend for him.
So it's probably been about 15 years. I remember being at a high school team camp at Trenton State in New Jersey. My son was on the St. Mark's high school team, and you know the coaches hired some counselor or some college wrestling guy to come in and just kind of watch the team and do some extra workouts. I think the bigger thing was doing extra workouts, but it just so happened to be you.
Yeah.
Fast forward a few years later, then we met up at PJW's. I know you bought a couple mats. You wanted to start a hometown wrestling club.
That's right.
Some things that I've seen over the years is you're not building on, it's not an all-star team. It's not guys you don't know. These are all homegrown kids. I know your own son wrestles on the team. You want to talk a little bit about, where you started, where you're at now. You mentioned it briefly. You've been coming for a couple years. Now you're winning a title. Now your other team's taking second place. Tell us a little bit about that journey and what you're trying to build.
Gosh, yeah, 2019 when we spoke, I was like, hey, how much are your mats, So I was renting a church basement, filling it with mats. That's where we got our first 2 mats off you guys and started it then and there. And the whole idea was just trying to get the community together. All these kids live within, a 10-mile radius of each other. So it's a couple schools we pull through. And like I said, it's took us this much time to be able to build a competitive team. But now we're competitive at our younger kids, our older kids. As I said, it was kind of a selfish process, really. It's been paying me back huge, tenfold, but it was really about building friendships and shared experience around my kids. Wrestling isn't everything, but it's a big part of these kids' childhood, and so we're just trying to give them the best childhood we can through the sport of wrestling.
So I know when we talked yesterday, and you and I talk quite a bit when we bump into each other, but you were talking about the struggle, and you were talking about maybe you're not going to win every match or win every point, and parents buying into the process and letting the kids struggle a little bit. So you're a Pennsylvania state champ, you're a Division I Pittsburgh All-American, you've coached at all different levels. Just talk about it's not just about the wins, it's about the journey and the process. So just share a little bit of that perspective with us, because I think there's a lot of people that should and could hear this.
Yeah, so last year we came, I talked about this with our team meeting. We were, I think 1-8 last year here, so it's kind of like, are we going to do this again? And so that was a question. We came back, obviously totally flipped it on the results. We only lost 1 match this year and made it to the finals. But that struggle, and you got to remind ourselves, and I'm a parent as well, and it's hard to watch your kid fight through those hard moments. Some of our guys had a tough weekend. Yeah, we got second place, but individually, some kids had a tough weekend. We've all had tough weekends. And looking back on my journey, those are what I remember. Yes, I won a state title. I got my hand raised at Hershey Park. It was great, but that moment was easy. It was all the hard parts that added up to that moment that made it special. And so as a parent, although we don't want struggle for our kids, that's why we sign our kids up. That's why we're here. That's why they're wrestling. That is wrestling. It's a struggle. And those struggles are what make you a better person for the rest of your life. So that's the hard thing to remind ourselves, but that's actually, we're grateful for the wins because it feels good. I'm grateful for the losses because it makes us better.
Yeah. Yesterday, after the duels, before the open, I saw you over there on mat 7 or something, but you were working positions and it was fine-tuning little things and they were hipping over and they were doing those things. But the more I get to know you, again, it's bigger than wrestling. It's developing character and setting them up for success off the mat in life. And I can tell you, I'm glad to have you as part of our tournaments and maybe to call you a friend at this point in time. And, ultimately I trust you. So if anybody's looking for a home in the Pittsburgh area,
that's it.
They should be coming to Ryan Homes. And
Ryan Homes will build you a home. We got a wrestling club in Bethel Park.
And then
great place to live.
You're going to get approved for a mortgage. Matt's going to take care of you. And then ultimately, if all that works out, then we're going to be calling Ryan for a big-time sponsorship. We'll give him a tournament back there in the Pittsburgh area.
Love it.
And we can edit any part of that you want. But congratulations.
Thanks.
Keep up the hard work. Thanks, Coach.
Thanks.